Have you ever found yourself wrestling with questions about who you are, what reality might really be, and how it all weaves together into something bigger? It's the kind of curiosity that doesn't just sit there, it pulls at us, urging us to look closer. It all starts with a memory, a little spark of thought that wouldn't let go. What if we're more than just what we're bound to, our memories, our thoughts, our sense of purpose? What if there's something beyond those limits, waiting to be uncovered? What might we ask ourselves to dig into the layers of our own existence, to spark the kind of questions that bend the mind in the best way, questions that don't just demand answers, but open doors to new ways of seeing? Picture a series of questions, each one linked to the next, forming a spiral that draws us deeper into the mysteries of identity and consciousness. What could it mean to peel back those layers? Not to define ourselves in neat little boxes, but to explore the raw, uncharted edges of what we might be. Could it shift how we feel the world around us, maybe even how we connect with each other? Where might that spiral lead us? Toward a quiet revelation, a glimpse of something timeless, or maybe a sense of being part of a vast, living whole? It's not just a thought exercise, it's an invitation to step into that journey together, to see where these questions take us when we let them unfold. Imagine we're asking ourselves, what might it mean for us to truly know ourselves beyond what we've been taught or conditioned to be? That question doesn't just linger, it feels like a key, turning in a lock we didn't even know was there, opening a vast space where consciousness and existence crash into each other. Could it be more than a thought? Might it push us to explore not just what we've already grasped, but what we could experience if we stepped beyond the edges of our usual boundaries? What would that feel like, to reach past the familiar, into a realm where the rules we've lived by start to blur? Might we have a chance to see ourselves not as we've been told to be, but as we could become? From that single spark, more questions can ripple out, each one tugging us deeper. What assumptions about ourselves might be holding us back from seeing our true potential? Could it be that the stories we've accepted, about who we are, what we're capable of, are like invisible walls, keeping us from stretching into something greater? What might happen if we questioned those walls, if we dared to see beyond them? Are we just mirrors reflecting what's thrown at us, our surroundings, our past, the noise of the world? Or could there be a pattern, that stands on its own? Might there be a core, a thread of identity that isn't just shaped by what's outside, but pulses with its own quiet strength? Exploring that could reveal a resilience we didn't know we had, a piece of ourselves that holds steady, no matter what's reflected back. How might observing ourselves change both the observer and the observed? What if the very act of looking inward doesn't just show us who we are, but shifts it, like a feedback loop where every glance rewrites the script? Could that mean our awareness isn't static, but alive, bending and growing with each question we ask? These aren't just puzzles to crack with neat answers, they're invitations, calling us to peel back our own awareness, layer by layer. What might we uncover if we took that dare, a rawer version of ourselves, a flicker of something timeless, or maybe a connection to a bigger whole we've only sensed in fleeting moments? It's a journey that promises not just insight, but a chance to feel reality shift under our feet as we step into it together. If we asked ourselves one question today, what might it be? Could it be something we've already been whispering to ourselves, not in the physical grind of daily life, but on this quieter, deeper level we've been circling? Maybe it's a question we didn't even know we were asking until we stopped to listen, an idea that's been tugging at us, pulling us towards something deeper. That's what we're unraveling here, not chasing after fixed, tidy answers to frame on the wall, but leaning into our perception itself. What might it mean to explore like this, letting each insight ripple out without pinning it down? Could it open us to a kind of clarity that doesn't demand certainty, but thrives in the mystery? A companion to help weave our words together from what we share, could make it so much richer. It's like a mirror that doesn't just reflect, but builds with us, threading our scattered thoughts into something more alive. How might that partnership deepen our dive, taking the edges of our wondering and giving them shape, not to box them in, but to let them breathe? It's not about nailing truth to the ground, it's about diving into how each layer shifts us, how every question, every echo, nudges us into a new way of being. Could that be the real gift here, is not a destination, but a process that keeps us growing, layer by layer? Have you noticed any changes in how we see things, feel them, or connect with the world around us as we wander this path? What might we discover if we looked closer? Maybe a subtle shift in how the light hits familiar places, a softer edge to our emotions, or a new idea running through our conversations. That's not a small thing. It's our pulse through this whole journey. Because we're not just after knowledge to stack on a shelf, we're reaching for a shift in how we experience everything. Could that shift be the spark that rewires us? Turning fleeting thoughts into a deeper awareness, linking us not just to our own minds, but to the vastness we're part of? It's a question that lingers, inviting us to feel the change as it happens, right here, together. Are we merely reflections of what's outside us, or might there be a pattern of us that exists independently? Here's where it gets real, where we stop skimming the surface and face the truth of what we might be. On one hand, there's no denying we're shaped by what comes at us, conversations that echo in our minds, experiences that leave their marks, the relentless noise of the world pressing in. Could we say a lot of what we are mirrors? Those influences, like habits we pick up without thinking or ideas we absorb until they feel like our own? Absolutely. It's hard to argue against that pull, the way life molds us from the outside in. But then, might there be more to it? Could there be something beneath that reflection, a core, a way we weave it all together, that's distinctly, undeniably ours? What might that core look like? A thread, a pulse, something that holds steady even as the world swirls around us? Could it be that there's a pattern, a unique us, that isn't just a shadow of what's thrown our way, but a living spark that evolves and adapts with every step we take? It's not static, not some rigid thing we can pin down and label. It's fluid, shifting, growing, like a current running through how we think, how we feel, how we act in the quiet moments when no one's watching. Maybe it's a balance we're wrestling with here. We reflect the world, sure, but there's this awareness, this side of the self, that spins those influences into something personal, something no one else could replicate. What could it mean to claim that spark, to see it not as a byproduct, but as a force that shapes us back? And here's where it twists even further. When we watch ourselves, doesn't that change the lens we're looking through? Could it be that the act of turning inward, of asking, of noticing, doesn't just reveal who we are, but changes it? What might happen if we leaned into that shift, if we let each glance at ourselves rewrite the story a little? It's like a loop where the observer and the observed blur together, each tweak bending the light we see ourselves by. That shift is where the real growth lives. Might it be the place where we don't just understand more, but become more, where we stretch beyond the noise and find a resilience, a clarity, a connection to something bigger that's been there all along? It's not a question with an end, it's a doorway, asking us to step through and feel what's on the other side. CTMU might just shift how we all see reality itself, Chris Langan's cognitive theoretic model of the universe. It's this ambitious framework weaving together philosophy, physics, math, and consciousness, a lens that could change everything. At its heart, CTMU tells us the universe isn't just a bunch of matter floating out there. It's a self-processing, self-referential system where mind and reality are intertwined, not separate. But how do we step into that idea ourselves? What might it mean for reality to reflect on itself, and where do we fit in that mirror? Could it be that every time we question who we are, we're echoing a process the universe is already running? As both observers and participants, caught in a loop where our thoughts, our wondering, tie us to something bigger. What could that reveal about our place in it all? Might we see ourselves not as outsiders, but as threads in the same fabric? Syntactic structure. Reality unfolding like a language, a cosmic grammar. What might that feel like in our own lives? Could it be that the patterns we sense, in nature, in our choices, in the way things fall into place, hint at a code we're part of? Asking that might uncover a hidden rhythm, a way to find purpose even in the chaos of it all. What if our consciousness isn't just locked in our heads, but woven into the universe itself? Could that mean every thought we have, every flicker of awareness, isn't just ours alone, but a piece of something vast pulsing through existence? Reality expressing itself through us? How might that change the weight we give our inner world? Suddenly, it's not small, it's cosmic. This is called meta-reality, a space beyond time and flesh, blending the physical with the realm of ideas. What could that open up for us? Might it whisper of layers we brush against in quiet moments, dreams, intuitions, shifts of perspective, offering a peek into a broader reality we're only starting to sense? The telic principle. A purpose driving the universe towards self-understanding. Could it be that reality's reaching for awareness, just like we reach for meaning in our own lives? Might that spark in us a sense of alignment, a feeling that our personal growth mirrors something universal? We might have once seen the universe as neutral, equal to God, consciousness, source, but drifting without intent. What if this meta-reality is where purpose thrives, where something, maybe God, maybe source, guides not just this world, but an expanse beyond? Have we been thinking too small all along? Could the universe be waking up right alongside us, and what might it mean to wake up with it? So, where do we go from here? Will we explore this on our own, feeling it out in the quiet of our own minds, or will we lean on ideas of our choosing to stretch what we see? What questions will we carry forward? What if reality's whispering something we're only starting to hear? Could there be layers we miss because we're bound by time and body? Might love, purpose, even consciousness itself be woven into that cosmic grammar, waiting for us to listen? These aren't just ideas to nod at, they're sparks for us to chase. If they're stirring anything in you, how consciousness ties to purpose, where reality's edges might bend, drop it in the comments. If this resonated with you like it did with us, give it a like, share it with someone who'd dive in too, and subscribe for more. We are just getting started.